the Kona EV, Hyundai Australia's second electric car offering, which is very compelling. We have a long-range battery, high-level trim, and a ride that is tuned to Aussie roads. Is this your next car purchase? Welcome to my review of the Kona EV. My name is Chris and I cover from an Australian perspective sustainable technologies such as electric mobility and more. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, or if you want to see more great content like this, subscribe. It's free. Last month, Hyundai Australia gave me the opportunity to drive the Kona EV for a half day, and well, I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed. So, in the video I'm going to break down looks, fit and finish, and ride. Ready? Let's jump straight into styling. The Kona Electric is a mini SUV that is contemporary, on trend with a high riding position and overall a pleasing car that I quite like, except that front. The crosshatch pattern, due to no radiator sitting behind it, is a little meh, and I would hate cleaning it knowing that, well, dust and grime will collect in those many grooves. Lines on the car are simple, clean, and not overdone like some car makers are doing with the small medium car offerings. I particularly like the side profile and rear quarter of this car. It's got great presence and is attractive to look at. The 17-inch alloy wheels add to this strong impression, and as you'll soon find out, they're both a blessing and a curse due to road noise. On the front bumper, you've got active air flaps, front and rear parking sensors, LED headlights and taillights. Hyundai tells me that typical wait time from ordering to delivery is about 2 to 4 months. At a bit over 4.1 meters long, the Kona EV is shorter than the Nissan Leaf 2 and Tesla Model 3, but is taller than either of those two competitors. The Kona feels, for front passengers, really pleasant, roomy, and a good car for everyday needs. At-home charging is handled by the included wall adapter, which plugs into any standard Australian 240-volt socket. And no, doing this didn't cause my house or the street to black out. The 7.2 kilowatt AC onboard charger can, through this adapter, charge the Kona in about 10 hours. If you were to venture out and use a rapid charger, which thankfully are becoming more common down under, you can juice up the Kona with a 100 kilowatt DC fast charge, giving 100 kilometers of range in less than 15 minutes or near full in an hour. Servicing is every 12 months or 15,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, and for the first 5 visits it's going to be $165 a pop. Now, if you know EVs and how few moving parts are in them, I'm kind of curious as to what $165 gets you in terms of servicing. They're going to rotate the tyres, change the wiper fluid, and the wipers. Man, I can't understand that pricing. Okay, with all that out the way, let's now turn to the interior. Fit and finish is really quite nice. You've got this leather steering wheel, these leather seats. Seating position is very customizable. You've got the standard, tilt and pitch with the steering wheel. It's not motorized, mind you, and there's no memory positions. Now, as for the whole interior, unlike the leather appointed seats and steering wheel, unfortunately, feel of buttons and switch gear just feels, well, a little bit on the cheap side. And, well, again, not surprising, this comes from the Kona range, and it is normally a $35,000 car. For instance, right beneath the vents here, that is a really hard plastic, and, well, it can be found throughout the interior cabin. But conversely, there's some really awesome features in this car, such as wireless charging, HVAC system with climate control, and importantly, a driver side only option, which other car manufacturers should be doing. The stereo is great and sounds awesome, and you've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, built-in sat nav, and digital radio. So the entry price for the Kona EV may be steep and, well, you're paying for the battery and the electric development. But fortunately, Kona is putting everything they can into this car to try to offset that high buy-in price.
Alright, so let's talk about these buttons down here. So you've got heated and ventilated front seats, which are also powered. Very nice. Drive mode, you've got 3 different drive modes. So you've got sport, you've got economy, and you've also just got normal everyday comfort. Over here you've got a heated steering wheel, which is very, very nice. And here you've got auto hold, so when you press that and you've come to a complete stop, you can take your foot off the brake, and no matter what the incline, no matter what the situation, so long as you've stopped, it will then keep the car completely still, which makes for really comfortable stop-start driving, especially for those that live in the city. A godsend. You've got parking assistance, so that's going to enable, obviously the front sensors as well, but that's actually automated, so it notes that when you're going slow and you put your car into reverse, it's going to guesstimate that, hey, you're actually maybe trying to park the car, and it does that automatically by itself anyway. But if you need to do it, you can just press that button yourself. Alright, now, we have a little bit of fun. Put it into sport mode. Now, I forget the time from 0 to 100, but let me tell you, because it's an electric engine and those motors are quite good, when you hit the accelerator, it just goes. And I'll try to get myself in a situation where I can be in front of the traffic and show you how much it goes. So here we are, just coasting along. It'd be nice if you stay in your lane, thanks mate. And I'm doing 50, and if I put my foot down, that was 90, like literally. I think that was 1 second, 2 seconds maximum. It's insane. It's truly impressive. Here we go. Alright, we've got a bit of an incline here. I'm at 0, and I'll tell you when I get to 100. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bit of tire skid. And we're at 100. So you can mark that however you want.
Here is some information about the motor and battery, and I'm very pleased that Hyundai actually included liquid cooling for the battery pack, as that's important, especially if you're doing DC fast charging. It generates a lot of heat, and keeping it cool means that you can do back-to-back charging sessions with no worries.
Obviously with that 64 kilowatt hour battery pack, it feels solid, firm, planted, heavy, definitely heavy. Thankfully the brakes are pretty good, and you only have to put a little bit of pressure on them to actually bring this car to a halt. So that feeling of mass is really overcome with actually some quite good brakes. Ooh, brakes. Speaking of which, I've got a brake for the lights. That was a good example, wasn't it? And look, watch. Alright, completely stopped, foot's off the brake, and it's not moving. It's very nice. Safety wise, you've got the full suite of safety features, and I'll put them on screen now.
The Kona EV also has smart cruise control, which will maintain the speed of your car while detecting vehicles ahead, maintaining like a safe distance, and will brake and accelerate, including in stop and go traffic. Speaking of braking, the Kona also has Regen, which comes in 3 different flavors. Level 1 will mean that the car will just coast as soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, but you can easily adjust for more Regen by using the pedals located behind the steering wheel for level 2 or 3. Here's a demo of level 3.
If I take my foot off the accelerator, 45, 30, we're almost going to come to a complete stop, but it doesn't completely stop. I need to actually put my foot on the brake to do that. It's almost one pedal driving. Not Nissan Leaf level one pedal driving. And actually, Nissan, you should be selling that technology to everybody, because all electric cars should have one pedal driving.
Now, one of the benefits of having an EV is just how quiet it is, and on normal urban driving, it's great, but at highway speeds, you get a moderate amount of sound coming from the front window area, as well as road noise from the tyres.
The heads-up display is actually really quite nice and really informative. Like, I can keep my eyes firmly out the front and I don't need to do any funny cyber glances. Tesla. You know, it's got all the information I need. And actually, you know what I should do? I'm going to put some navigation into Android Auto, and I'll see if it shows up here on the head-up display, and I'll do the same again with their own maps that come in this trim level. Hey Google, navigate me to home.
Navigating to home.
Okay, so Google Maps is obviously coming up on the screen here, but I'm not seeing it in my head-up display. Let's just try a little bit of a...
Head south on Manchester Drive towards Darlington Grove. In 200 metres, turn left onto Calder Park Drive.
Yeah, no, I'm getting no information there whatsoever. I'll do a bit of a turny.
Turn left onto Calder Park Drive.
No directions there. Okay. Oh, okay, there it goes.
The route guidance will start now. Turn left onto Calder Park Drive.
Okay, this is both good and bad. Now, first of all, Android Auto, and I figure Apple CarPlay might be the same. They're using like a little tiny speaker to put the sound through, and well, I don't get that. Like, why? Why wouldn't they use this?
In 700 metres, turn slight left onto Milton Highway.
So, why wouldn't they use the really nice speakers? Why Hyundai? Why? Okay, and alright, this is really nice. My head-up display now has actually got an indicator of you've got to hang a bit of a left in 400 metres, 390 metres, you get the idea.
300 metres, turn slight left onto Milton Highway.
Okay, cool. So look, you're getting information overload now. You've got navigation on your head-up display, well, your head-up display there
turn
rather.
Slight left onto Milton Highway.
Shh. I wanted to be quiet now. You're getting it here on this nice screen. Let's turn the Regen up. 3, thank you. Alright, here we go. The sports mode action. I feel the power.
Continue on Current Road for about 2 kilometres.
Oh, that was torque steering galore. Oh, okay. Alright, okay. Front wheel drive. Yeah, it's fine. They should have, you know, they could have put the motors in the rear, because the electric motors are actually quite small. They're amazing things what they do. And why didn't they just put it in the rear? That would be a lot more fun. You know what I mean?
Staying with ride and handling, plus several more things that I like about the Kona EV, I must congratulate Hyundai Australia on getting the overall feel of the Kona right. They say that they tuned the Kona to our roads with no less than 40 iterations of spring bars, anti-roll and damper designs to try and find the right amount of comfort. Yes, our roads are in general trash, and the Kona absorbed them well, but you still felt a lot of transference through the wheel, and as it's front wheel drive, accelerating in corners is a bit, what's it gonna do? Due to all that torque available at any one time. I don't think I'm being harsh on Hyundai given the price of entry, but they do get a lot of things right. So here's my top 5. First up, the heads-up display and driver instrument cluster. Both are very informative, very customizable, and give you real-time readings of how good or bad you are at preserving the battery. Including Android Auto and Apple CarPlay means that you're not at the mercy of your car maker to keep your maps up to date. Plus, listening to what you want when you want and being able to control it from both a touchscreen and steering wheel controls is very satisfying. Range. This car will easily go a whole week without needing to be recharged. You won't need to be frugal with the heater or aircon. You can crank open the sunroof for those days where weather permits, and again, accuracy with range is reassuring. Stealthy instant acceleration is a delight that doesn't get old. I did it one too many times to my poor suffering wife, who didn't appreciate it so much. But come on, EVs are fun, and the more people know about this little known fact, the quicker we'll all move to sustainable modes of transport. And finally, both a good thing and bad, more on those shortly. Storage space within the cabin and boot are good for such a small SUV. Remember, this car is a full 50 centimeters shorter than small hatchbacks or sedans, and the boot capacity of 332 litres still has space to store some flattish items in that intermediary space, and then where the spare wheel should be, you've got a nice storage bin for your charging accessories. Now, unfortunately, there's not everything to like about the Kona EV, and well, here's one of them.
You hear that? You hear that? So, below 30 k's per hour, it emits that noise. I'm unsure if it's outside or inside, but man, it's a little bit annoying. And over here, like on the Ioniq, there's a button you could defeat it. I can't find that button on this one. I dislike immensely that noise.
But fortunately, it only occurs when it's going slow, so you then get this.
You can't beat that quietness of it.
Ah well, you can't have it all your own way. But this is actually a very short list of dislikes that I have for this car. The second one is rear legroom. If you're planning on transporting 2 or 3 people back there, I'll make them shorter journeys if I were you. The front seat positions here are set to my 170 centimeter height, and as you can see, space between my knees and the front seat is very limited. Added to that, the person who has to sit in the rear center position will have to contend with this small transmission hump, which sadly has to be there because, well, it shares the same base as the other Konas.
So, what are my thoughts? I'm really impressed with it. This, the Highlander spec, which is a bit over 70k in Victoria, is, for an electric car, actually really good value. Affordable and very compelling. Real world range of like 450 kilometers, not what Tesla's doing. Now, I'll put it on the screen now. Tesla's quoting the NEDC cycle. Okay, so there's that on screen. That's for the Standard Base Plus Tesla Model 3, which comes in at roughly the same price as this car. But that is not a wheel drive range. So I'll put this Kona's NEDC range on the screen now. You can see that the range is crazy different, and I really dislike how, of all the methods that Tesla could have used to actually rate the distance that those cars can go, they've used the one that will actually, I think, annoy people the most, because people were saying to each other, hey, my car can do 450 kilometers, and it's like, no, you're gonna have to have maybe 20-degree temperature, you're not going to have your climate turned on, you're going to stick below maybe 75 kilometers per hour, and you're going to slipstream behind another car, and you're going to go on flat surfaces, and you're going to be in stop and go traffic. The realities of that, a few times per year would you be able to actually get that range if you're lucky. So I think that the world harmonized test is a little bit more generous than the American EPA system. So I would really like a standardized test that is actually true real world range. And this car, for this price, with a 64 kilowatt hour battery pack, these motors, all this tech, I mean, look, in the Tesla, you don't get the ventilated front seats, you don't get the head-up display, you don't get the heated steering wheel. There's a lot to like here, and if you're in the market and you're thinking to yourself, I really would like that extra bit of range, and you just can't reach for the performance Model 3, this is your car. This really is. I'm impressed.